All right, let's start with week 1, assignment 2, and reviewing of those answers. So, all of these are quadratics. Number 15 is probably the harder of the 3 problems that I gave you, but we'll go ahead and go through all of them. So remember, you can press pause at any point in time to do work, look at them, and think about those. So g of x is a x squared plus 24. So we're missing a and x squared. But we know a is a constant, and we know if I do this, g of 4 is equal to 8. So that means if x equals 4, then g of x is equal to 8. So that means we can do some math and substitute. So we're just going to substitute 8. A is still unknown. 4 is x plus 24. We're going to go ahead and do our math there. So 8 equals 16a plus 24. Basic algebra 1 problem. We're going to go ahead and subtract 24 from both sides. 16a equals negative 16. We're going to divide both sides by 16. A is equal to negative 1. That means now is we can actually substitute into our equation. So g of x is equal to negative 1 x squared plus 24. Now, a lot of you probably thought that if g of 4 is positive 8, then g of negative 4 is negative 8. But this is not the correct answer. Let's look at that. So, negative 1 times negative 4 quantity squared plus 24. Square a negative number, and you know it comes out as a positive. So we have negative 1 times positive 16 plus 24. And we end up with negative 16 plus 24 equals positive 8. So A is equal to positive 8. The other way you could think about this is this one is very, very clearly symmetric about the y-axis because, think about it, that positive 24 just moves it up 24. There is no left and right movement. So whatever it is on the right side, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 8, if this is 1 point, because of the symmetry, we could say 1, 2, 3, 4. We would know it would need to be over there. Whether it opens up or opens down, it doesn't matter. The symmetry, because this just means move up 24. There is no left, right movement. So another way to think about that one. All right. So let's do 15. Hardest one kind of on the problem. At least this is how I solved it. I like to do manipulation if I absolutely can. So I'm going to double distribute both of these. And when I double distribute, I end up getting ax times bx plus 7ax plus 2bx plus 14, which makes sense. We should have 14, so we have 14 here. So this abx squared plus 7a plus 2b times x plus 14. So what does AB equal? Well, has to match up with a 15. Actually, let's do it this way. Let's highlight it. AB and 15 have to be the same. So I know AB equals 15. I also know that this 7a plus 2b has to equal c. So I'm going to write that 7a plus 2b has to equal c. The third thing that I know, based on my picture, is that a plus b is equal to 8. So a plus b equals 8. So now I can do some manipulation and see if I can separate things, look at things a little differently. I'm going to rewrite a plus b equals 8 as a equals 8 minus b. So now I'm going to use that in my problem to set up some math. So a times 8 minus, actually I lied, 8 minus b times b is equal to 15, because this now allows me to have one variable. So I'm going to distribute 8b negative b squared equals 15. It's a quadratic. We have to set quadratics equal to 0. So I'm going to move this to this side and this to this side. So it's going to create 0 equals b squared minus 8b plus 15. So now what I want to look at is what my values of b can be. Well, I'm going to factor b minus 5, b minus 3. Therefore, b is equal to 5 and 3. Now, there's no calculator, so I did have to do that by hand. But the question isn't what does b equal. The question is what does c equal. Well, I know 7a plus 2b equals c. So I need a. A equals 8 minus 5, or 3. A equals 8 minus 3, or 5. So 7 times 3 plus 2 times 5, and 7 times 5 plus 2 times 3 gives me 21 plus 10, or 31, and 35 plus 6, or 41. So that means my answer is going to be D. Now that's a lot of work. Now, non-calculator has a lot less questions, so this is probably one of the harder questions that you would see. If it's one that you want to work on, go for it. If it's one that you're like, yeah, I'm going to skip it, that's fine too. Okay? All right, 25. This one's calculator. You could just use your graphing calculator. So the equation above expresses the approximate height of a ball t seconds after it's launched vertically upward from the ground with an initial velocity of 25 meters per second. After approximately how many seconds will the ball hit the ground? So basically we know that this ball does what? It goes up and it comes back down. So this is the value of t that we're looking for. So in all honesty, I'm usually going to use my graphing calculator, but because of technology, I'm going to show you guys this via Desmos, and you can use your graphing calculator. But with Desmos, I'm just going to graph it. So negative 4.9 x squared, right, plus 25x. And all I want to know is what is that value there? 5.102. So we're going to say, because it says approximately, we're going to go back to our answer of 5. Now, let's say that you didn't want to use your graphing calculator. What do we know the height is when it hits the ground? Bingo, you're right. It's 0. So we could factor, I know, out of t. Whole thing is equal to 0, so that means t equals 0, or negative 4.9t plus 25 is equal to 0. So 4.9t is equal to 25. Divide both sides by 4.9, not 4.4. T is approximately 5. Because 25 divided by 4.9 is going to be a little bigger than 5, because 4.9 is really close to 5. And there's the answers for week 1